Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of Egypt. Yes, today we are west of Egypt, unless geography has changed. I believe west of Egypt works tonight. It is a day game, a very rare day game on this calendar. And as you can tell, this is not Anthony SanFilippo. This man has much better coverage up top. This man has a brain that is twice the size of if you put mine and Anthony, even in our big domes, put them together. Bill Meltzer's here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Bill, to the show. Stick taps on top of the table. I have to, really quick, Bill, before we get into all the hockey talk today, I have to let people know what's up with Anthony.
Please do.
Anthony SanFilippo is on his way, sort of, to the MLB winter meetings. And I say sort of because Anthony was going to be on pregame from Florida. He was at the airport at 4:30 this morning. You know, I was at a Christmas party last night with him. He goes, 4:30, I'll be at the airport. I wake up this morning. I see he texts me, 5:30 a.m. Somebody stopped him in the airport to say how much he loves Snow the Goalie. Great. Lovely.
Yeah.
So I'm getting these periodic updates, and he's going, hey, plane is delayed. Flight is delayed.
Yeah.
Then he's like, I'm on the plane. We're waiting to go. Then they find out the pilot needs the mandatory rest period. Then they have to de-ice the plane. And while they're de-icing the plane, it crashes the computer on the plane. So I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Well, it's like, what do you do in that situation, right?
Yeah.
I have no update. And then he's like, all right, it's supposed to be an hour. I'm like, okay. So I leave him alone for a few hours. I texted him about 10 minutes before we went live. Say, hey, I assume you're alive. Where are you? He goes, the flight got canceled. I had to book through another airline. I have to get my suitcase. I am still at Philadelphia International. And he's now informed me that he is not going to land in Florida until 8 p.m. tonight.
Isn't travel fun?
I feel like this always happens to him.
Yeah.
He and I were both out west at the same time. I had a conference in Vegas, and he was out for the Phillies-Dodgers series.
Yeah.
And I had no issue. I got out of Vegas, no problem. He was at LAX, and there was a 4-hour delay for it seemed like all the media people were on a 4-hour delay. So I'm not saying it's Anthony's fault.
No, can't help the airlines, but yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So anyway, we send our best to Anthony SanFilippo. If he's at Philadelphia International or wherever he is right now, I hope he has a belly full of food and maybe a drink in his hand at that point. I mean, I think we could all understand a 12:30 beverage after that kind of travel experience.
Been there and done that, Ant. So my sympathies.
So you say my sympathies, and I say, well, there might have to be some sympathies given out to Flyers fans who are in attendance today, because let's make no mistake about it, this Colorado Avalanche team that has come to town is quite the team.
Now that being said, all right, not that there's ever a good time to run into a wagon like Colorado is, but if there is a good time, it's when they're playing their third game in less than 4 nights after coming from 2 time zones away. Best shot they have is today.
So they played Thursday, Saturday, and then, of course, today.
Yeah.
Thursday, they had a 6 spot dropped on them by the Islanders on the island.
Yeah.
They rebounded yesterday in overtime, 3-2 win.
McKinnon.
So they come to town today. And again, you mentioned they're a wagon. They're not quite at historic levels yet. I have a stat of the night that is not intern Andrew's stat of the night just in terms of goal differential. But when you look at these guys on paper, you say this is arguably the best team to this point in the season over the last, I don't know, it's been some time.
No question. When you look at a team, to me, when you look at what's sustainable, what isn't sustainable, the scary thing with Colorado is their power play is bad.
Yeah.
They're 26 on power play, so okay. So they have to be great at 5-on-5, right? Yeah, they sure are. They're plus 39. The most sustainable, because power plays run hot, they run cold. Even if you're number 1 in the league, you're gonna hit some rough stretches. 5-on-5 dominance is something you can sustain, so that's kind of scary, honestly.
I'm gonna drop my stat of the night right now. You ready for this? So the other night we were looking at goal differential because Bundy and I were talking postgame about just how good they've been. So right now they entered tonight. They've played 28 games. They are 22-6. Their goal differential right now is plus 48. And I said to myself, 48 seems like a lot, right? And you would think to yourself, 48 is probably a historic number. Are they on pace for there to be like some kind of a historic season? Well, the answer, of course, is no. And I'm sure you are none of this is going to come as a surprise to Bill, who is an encyclopedia of hockey knowledge. But just to give people an idea, the top 2 all-time goal differential in a season, right? The 70-71 Bruins had a plus 192 goal differential.
Bobby Orr.
Yes. And this shouldn't surprise everybody, but the number is staggering. The 1976-77 Montreal Canadiens had a plus 216 goal differential. Yeah. Plus 216. That is insane.
That's back when you could have Hall of Famers at every position, and there was no salary cap back then. So different times. But yeah, that's just staggering.
It seems like an unfathomable number to reach, and yet it was the case. So let's talk about what's happening here with the Philadelphia Flyers. They're still in the midst of this homestand. They have a bunch of games coming up this week. There are still 3 games remaining on this 6-game homestand after today. I'm going to keep saying tonight, but today. This is the game that I think when you look at the homestand, you say is a schedule loss. At least mentally, you probably go, this is going to be a really tough game. You're looking at this probably like more likely a loss than a, yes, we definitely can go out and beat this team. Yeah. But as you mentioned, 3rd game in less than 4 days.
Nights, yep.
So maybe there's a fatigue thing that sets in here. Yeah. This is probably best case scenario of when to meet them. Heads up, right?
That's best chance you have. At home. You're in. You've had some off days too. Flyers are the rested team here. I mean, all those secondary factors do favor the Flyers, but then there's the team versus team matchup, and you still have to play not a perfect game, but pretty close to one to win it.
And then did I see correctly that Cam York is out of the lineup today?
Correct. He didn't practice.
They brought Ty Murchison up.
Yeah.
Do we know if he's in the lineup?
He's not.
He's not. Okay. So the lack of York is certainly not going to help matters. On the forward side of things, obviously the Flyers remain out without Tyson Forster for the next 2 to 3 months, according to Danny Briere. What have you seen initially, I guess, out of the Grabenkins of the world, and what do you think ultimately they're going to do over this next 2 to 3 month period? Do you see them going out, making an acquisition? Do you think that they're going to look to fill that spot internally? Where do you land?
Well, I think they want to look at first at moving Grabenkin up in the lineup, see what he can do. Last game was his first chance to really play in the top 9. Had a pretty good game doing it. Has to sustain that. There are still things. He needs to play.
Yeah.
Right. He needs to play. I understand why he's sad at times because he gets a little lost on the ice sometimes. Sometimes with the communication side, it's weird to say this, but he knows just enough English to not admit that he doesn't know much English.
Yeah.
Because I do think that some things have to be repeated over and over and over to him. But the only way to learn is by doing.
Yeah.
So he has the first opportunity. I mean, they made a conscious decision that Alex Bump was not ready to be called up.
Yep.
At some point, maybe he gets the next shot.
Yeah. What cracks me up, by the way, about Grabenkin? Like when you're talking about the fluency thing.
Yeah.
Because you and I are both, multilingual guys up here on the panel.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is that Grabenkin ends so many of his media availabilities or his quotes with "Let's go Flyers."
Let's go Flyers. Yeah.
I just love that. It's like a beautiful linguistic tick at the end of things. It's just like
that's his exit.
I like opportunity. Let's go Flyers.
Yes.
Like brilliant. Yeah. I love it.
Perfect.
So you mentioned Bump. Obviously, Danny was on the show last week and kind of shouted out Denver Barkey's play so far this season.
Yeah. Now, quick thing with Barkey. The organization likes him. I like him a lot, too. Had a great junior career. I definitely see him as an NHL guy in the relatively near future. At a certain point, though, Russ, they made a decision on the blue line, and understandably, I'm totally in favor of it. Emil Andre was so much better than the other options.
Correct.
That they called him up. They're giving him a chance, and he's running with it.
Yep.
But at a certain point, you do have to consider what is your mix, right? Because Barkey is actually he's smaller than Rink, and so he's small, and Rink is small, and Michkov is small, and keep going, right?
Yeah.
At some point you have to.
I like to say vertically challenged. I feel
there
personally attacked here, Bill.
There you go.
We get that you're gifted vertically, but you know.
But anyway, but anyway, at a certain point, you're gonna have to make a decision. You know, is Brink part of your long-term solution here? I'm curious as to when Barkey has his opportunity, and do they see him as a top 9 guy or as a 4th line guy you could maybe move up occasionally? So, but he's off to a really good start.
I guess that's, whenever we talk about size and we talk about like what this team is going to look like whenever they're ready to kind of flip that switch and try to compete and all that, I guess the counter back to, like, I understand conceptually, like, night in and night out, you don't want to have this like diminutive team, and at the same time, it's like you're kind of not doing due diligence on some of these guys if you don't give them the opportunity. Correct. And so it's like, even Emile Andre, right? Like there was that idea out there of, well, they're already kind of small on the blue line. York's not exactly big. Drysdale's not big. Can you really roll with another one? And I'd say, well, yeah, I mean, if he's one of your best defensemen.
Yeah, if he's that much better than the other guys, you just live with it. You're on playoff matchups anyway. You got to get there in the first place to the postseason. Andre has been earning his stripes, and he earned that opportunity.
Yeah.
Up front they have a little more depth though to kind of figure out how we want to match things up and those kind of things. Barkey's time will come. I'm just curious if it's going to be sooner than later.
I've not gotten any indication, at least in my chats, and I can't imagine you have either, that Barkey's even really on the radar for a call up yet.
Not yet. No.
I mean, if you're maybe another injury or two away from it probably necessitating a real conversation about bump. I think you're multiple injuries or a massive trade away from having to consider Barkey.
I would agree
at this point.
I'd agree.
There was a question here for Bill from Vineet Singh. It says, question for Bill, and I love Bill. We love Bill. That's what it says. With all of Martone, Luchenko, Bump, and maybe even Barkey needing roles with the big club next year, can any of them play on the 4th line like Coots did his rookie year?
Good question. I mean, that is an op. That is not. No, I don't see Martone.
Martone's not a 4th line guy.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think they'd want to play Luchenko as a 4C.
No, he might start there though.
Yeah.
If the Flyers were to go out and get another center, start him in the 4th line and maybe move him up. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Bump,
I don't think he'd bring Bump up to play 4th line.
Bump, I don't see the guy who can play in the 4th line.
Could there be a case to be made, like, you mentioned Bobby Brink. Could there be a thought there that maybe Brink would maybe be more likely to move down to the 4th line, and you'd bring Bump up and have him play 3rd line minutes, maybe?
Well, but when you're thinking your 4th line guys, ideally, right? It's guys who can kill penalties, things like that. I don't know if I want Brink as a regular penalty killer. Now at whatever point they decided, with Hathaway, right, who's still looking for his first point, those kind of things.
That's
right?
Unbelievable.
But but at that point, maybe you change the mix around a little bit, and maybe there's an opportunity there, maybe for a guy to play on the 4th line. But that's a really good question and a fair question. You only have so many spots and so much power play time available to guys that who fits where.
I actually do want to ask you about Hathaway. He doesn't look right. He doesn't look like the same guy he was last year, and I think it's been a precipitous drop off. Like, I'm not saying he's done. I'm not saying that as an NHL player he's done. But you remember, like, Wayne Simmons came up on the show like a week or so ago, and with Bundy, and he was just like, "Yo, when Wayne Simmons was done, like, the play just went. Yeah. There wasn't like a gradual decline." I'm not saying that Hathaway's there yet, but like to have 0 points at this point in the season, I get it. 4th line minutes, and like, I get the idea that he's a penalty killer for you, and that's valuable. But at the same time, if he's not impacting play in a meaningful way in the offensive zone at all,
right,
and maybe even as a net negative there, shouldn't you be able to have somebody else on this team kind of fill that role as a penalty killer, and maybe have somebody in the lineup who can actually help you in another element of the game?
Yeah, you have to have that discussion, right?
Yeah.
Who are your PK options? Moving ahead. Now, one thing they've done, of course, before Forster got hurt and whatever, is that he was killing penalties too.
Yeah.
I mean,
is there somebody that comes to mind to you right now that hasn't really been given that opportunity to play on the PK that you think, in theory, could be a good fit there?
Trying to think. I mean, a couple of years ago, giving him more PKR. I mean, a couple of years ago, I remember Konechny led the world in shorthanded goals.
Yeah.
So he has killed penalties before and done, but he hasn't really been quite himself this year either.
Yeah.
But it could be an offensive-minded guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That is an option. It doesn't have to just be a checker killing penalties. It's actually kind of nice to have that counter rush threat. Yeah, I mean, at some point that's going to be Barkey. Barkey's will be a penalty killer.
So maybe that's part of the case of why. Well, I think we both agree that Bump probably outranks Barkey right now on the likely to get called up list. But I don't know. Maybe that is a conversation at some point that, like, if they, whenever that moment comes where you'd want to call a guy up, maybe that actually helps Barkey leapfrog Bump is to just see what he looks like on the PK. Okay. All right. So that's that part of things. Vladar net tonight or today. Would you have done that?
I was literally just talking about that with Bundy downstairs.
Okay.
Honestly, I thought Urson's last 3 starts honestly been pretty good. I get that for right now Vladar is your number one. I'm not sure the competition is signed, sealed, and delivered in terms of playing time.
Wow,
I'm right now. Vladar.
That's a hot take.
Well, how many times has Vladar played more than 30 games in his career?
Never. 30 is the most he's ever played.
That is correct, right? Well, we have a lot of season left to go.
Yeah.
Now, Urson has a tendency to get hurt.
That is true.
And a tendency to come back slowly when he gets hurt.
Correct.
But he's also put together stretches of 6 weeks at a time where he's looked really good.
Yeah.
So not basing too much off the Pittsburgh game, and right now Vladar is he's ahead in the depth chart. But I'm not sure the competition is done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess my counter to that, respectfully.
Yeah.
I mean no disrespect. If Sam Harrison's in net today, like there's a non-zero chance he gets shelled, and you have to make that change.
Okay.
Midway through the second.
There's a non-zero chance that Vladar gets shelled. So
I guess I would feel a little bit better about the likelihood of Vladar being able to kind of hang in there against this Colorado team. Maybe that was the calculus that went into it. I don't know.
Well, I said
you are the first person, by the way, to come on the show so far this season and be like, I'm not saying.
It's not based off. Yeah, it's not based off of.
But you're saying don't declare Sam Harrison dead.
I'm not declaring Sam Harrison dead. No.
Bill's getting his Christian holidays backwards. He's looking for the resurrection of Sam Harrison. That's not until Lent, not Advent. All right, so
that's to stay healthy.
That's to stay healthy. I mean that really is the most critical thing. I don't know how much. I know that you usually keep up with the Phantoms a lot more than a lot of other people do. It seems like Kolosov and Bjarnason are doing well this season.
Yeah, they have.
The nice thing, I guess, is that Harrison's been able to stay relatively healthy, and Vladar's played well, and so those two have gotten to have that tandem going on with Lehigh Valley, and you don't have this kind of weird thing that happened last year where you had 3 goalies at the NHL level rotating, and no one can find consistency. So, got to think that from an organizational standpoint, they're probably thrilled with the fact that they've got what they've got going on. Down the Phantoms.
You're able to get guys playing time down there. The whole 3 goalie thing from last year. The old saying still holds: if you have 3 goalies, you don't have one, right? It's just the truth. If you have 3 of them, it means you don't have one guy you can rely on. Kolosov has had a better attitude this year.
Yeah,
he's played better. Now, to me, the biggest thing with the Phantoms. Today, as we're recording this, they're playing in Hershey today. It's one of those AHL specials with 3 games in 3 days. But who have the Phantoms lost to, right? They've lost to Wilkes-Barre Scranton 4 times. They're 0-4 against them, right? 3 of them are 4-1 losses, and then, 6-2, 5-2 last game. And they've also lost twice to Laval, who's in first place in the other division in the conference.
Okay.
So that's 6 of your losses right there. They don't have a win against a top team yet. That's my one question with that team. But in terms of the goaltending, yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Where do you think that prospect pool right now, not just with the Phantoms, but then you can kind of zoom out a little bit, you can include Martone in that.
Yeah.
Where do you think this prospect pool ranks right now compared to like where it's been the last, I don't know, like let's say 5 or 6 years? I mean, remember like back in the Hextall days, it always felt like we were being told the kids are coming and they're gonna be impact players, and like some became NHL players. I wouldn't say that any of them really became game breakers.
No.
But like where do you think this group kind of stacks up from what you can tell so far?
I'd still like to see a real impact center in the system. And I'd really like to see a guy who, this is at least a number 2 defenseman. Lacking those elements still. That does not put them in the top, but I think they're in the top half because they have pretty good depth in the system. When you draft best available player, that sometimes that doesn't mean you can end up short at a certain position.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see a little more high end on the blue line, a little more high end down the middle, but on the wing, it's pretty good.
Well, let me ask you about the down the middle thing.
Yeah.
So Luchenko, I've not been high on. I would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
Nesbitt to me is actually very intriguing just because of the size and we had him on during dev camp and he was like, he said he was like, the one thing that I need to work on more than anything else is that first stride, that explosive first stride. If I can get that fixed, between those two guys, if I said to Bill, which guy is more likely to play top 6 minutes for an extended period in the NHL? Who would you look at right now and say,
I'm a Luchenko guy. Okay. You're not, I am. The element of speed that he brings, right? Mm-hmm. He's a really, really good playmaking center. He doesn't like to shoot the puck at all. That's his big bugaboo. He will not shoot the puck. Yeah. But he's a very good setup guy. But so being a good distributor with really good speed and the ability to play in a lot of different situations, he doesn't have as far to go as Nesbitt does. But, I mean, the Flyers drafted Nesbitt with the whole idea that he'll spend 2 years in junior, at least a year in the American League, and then you see where you are. And I do think over time he'll be a good NHL player. But in terms of who has more gaps to fill, right now that's Nesbitt has more gaps to fill. Okay. So for the short-term basis, just judging on developmental level, I would go with Luchenko. But in the bigger picture, if they hit their ceiling, then switches. Yeah. Okay.
So just to keep people apprised of what's going on with Brantford, Luchenko has 2 goals in 5 games, and that is one of the things that we've long said. Like if before he was sent back to junior, it's just like, listen, if he can get to a team that has more talent, and maybe there isn't as much of an onus on him to just be a playmaker exclusively, and you have a coach who's going to push him. In this case, Jay McKee should theoretically be pushing him, and we tend to believe that there's a very good communication pipeline there between McKee and Danny Briere.
No doubt.
If Danny looks at it and goes, he's got to work on his willingness to shoot. He's just got to put pucks on net. Well, then you would have to imagine McKee's going to get him to shoot. So 2 goals in 5 games already matches the number that he had in 11 games with Guelph this season, which was also 2 goals. Yeah. He's a point per game right now. He was higher than a point per game with Guelph, but he had that one. It was like a 6-point night, right?
The one
explosion.
Yeah.
So I would say, like on the whole, right now, you look at it and you say, it's a good potential progression here. If set your expectations appropriately, but it's point per game on a very good team.
It's a high bar to be an impact NHL offensive player. If you're playing your draft +2, you want to see the guy around 2 points a game. That's generally the bar for what you want to see and not even all those guys make it impact players in the NHL, but that's kind of what you want to see 2 seasons removed from your draft year. Mm-hmm. So Jed has a ways to go still in terms of productiveness, but I love his skill set. So, he's in a good situation. A team that'll win. I would say that as you get past the World Juniors into the second half, I really want to see a takeoff there, and then see where they go. But yeah, like he'll have every opportunity, and he actually has some talent around him. Like you would watch a Guelph game. I would say that to a bunch of people that you would watch a Guelph game last year, and to watch the game, boy, Luchenko created 5 scoring chances.
Yeah,
5 really good scoring chances. At the end of the night, you look up, he'd have 1 assist. Now he has guys that can finish around him, and so that also opened up more opportunities for him too. So, a point per game start is not bad as you're getting adjusted, but I want to see at least a point and a half a game.
Yeah,
up to 2 points a game.
Especially with that team around him now.
Which is wrong.
We have a little bit of breaking news here. I don't know how breaking it is, but I saw it in the comments, and it looks like it was just verified. Erson's in net.
Okay.
They made. I hopefully Vladar's not hurt, but Erson apparently was.
I think there's some rumor circulating that he might have hurt himself in warm-ups, but we have boots on the ground, Joe Papel, who's here.
Yeah.
He said that Vladar looked okay in warm-up, so I have no idea what's going on with that. But
we had our backs to warm up, so yeah.
Yeah,
Well, but hopefully Vladar was not hurt in warm-up. I mean,
our guy Papel, and he confirmed that Erson and Blackwood both left the ice first, so they're playing.
All right, so hey,
I stand corrected.
No, not that you're corrected. It's that we're going to see if your theory there about young Sam Erson having himself a nice follow-up game is going to come to fruition. We'll find out.
I think Vladar initially the plan was for him to play. I have no idea why they changed it though. So we'll see. It's where we miss Ant.
Little head fake at Colorado,
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Martone.
Yeah.
Everybody I talk to, the term that has been used, I like to use the word stud. I had somebody very recently say to me, he looks like a stud.
He does.
What is it about his game right now that makes you go, ooh, there? Okay. That's not just like there's something there. That looks like something impactful.
Because he does things that translate to the NHL. A lot of guys in junior or even in college, they might put up big numbers, but that play wouldn't work so well in the NHL. He is impossible to take off the puck. He can finish. He can set. If you're doubling down on him, he'll find the open guy, so you can't cheat on him. And on top of that too, he's like he's not afraid of anything. He's so competitive.
Yeah.
But he's so heavy on pucks. Not the best skater, but it's not really a concern. He's at least average and probably
feels
be fine.
Feels like a lot of Flyers just in general, like roster players and some of the prospects. The very few guys in this organization that you go, that's a hell of a skater. So he should be able to overcome that. So that okay,
he'll be fine. Yeah. His skating will be fine, but he has all the elements of a legitimate first line winger. So that's and probably in the next couple of years, a guy who will be an above average, top of the lineup guy, has all the makeup of it.
He looks legit.
Yes,
that's something to be really excited about for this fan base for sure. All right, I have to ask you about the Olympics because this was a hot topic on the show the other night, but it remains a hot topic. We're supposed to get is the update supposed to be today or tomorrow, I think, about the rink and the arena itself? Apparently on Halloween, there was no roof on the building. There was a report a couple days ago that, there was a roof, but they deemed the roof was too low, so they had to rebuild the roof.
Yeah.
So, listen, Milan was awarded the Olympics in 2019, June of 2019. So it'll be effectively 6.5 years from being awarded the Olympics to when they dropped the puck for the first game.
And
what the hell, Bill?
Exactly. What what a gong show, right?
Yeah.
What a gong show. My goodness. And they had an Olympics there before, right? So
in Turin, yeah.
Yeah, in Turin, in Italy. So, it's their question is can they actually handle something? Is the playing surface safe? Is it, et cetera? The rink dimensions, it's like the old Odd in Buffalo, which is 2 feet smaller.
Yeah.
Guys nobody plays in a rink like that. It's
You would think it's going to favor the NHL players on their respective teams.
You would think
the
so.
smaller ice.
You would think so, especially bigger guys, right?
Yeah.
But the smaller ice that does favor certain kinds of players, and you plan accordingly. But My bigger thing here too is that, boy, it's like it needs to be safe for the players, and it also needs to be watchable. I mean, people that pay money to go to Olympic Games too.
Yeah.
It's I can't believe they had all these years to plan it. The Olympics are in February. We're in December. Like, why are these things even need to still be discussed? I don't get it.
It's absolutely like it is legitimately insane that we're having the conversation like we are, and yet it doesn't look like they're any closer to a resolution there either. I mean, it is a total bleep show, we'll call it, for the purposes of the Press Row Show. Well, since the Press Row Show is we got about 3 minutes before the anthem. Joining us as always, an absolutely beautiful man. Bundy is here. Bundy, how you doing?
Doing good, guys. How'd Bill make out today? At least we got a great fill-in for Anthony.
Fantastic. I mean, Bill's great.
Bill's the best.
We know.
Yeah.
Bill's a great guy.
You want the 3 keys to the game?
I would love nothing more than the 3 keys to the game.
Let me get them for you right now. Let's pull them up. All right, number 1 tonight, Nathan McKinnon. He is the key to the game tonight. The D-core and tracking forward of the Flyers must do its best to contain and limit Nathan McKinnon at all costs. He aims to get to the middle of the ice with speed and power. The Flyers need to get him to the perimeter and minimize his chances. He is the best player in the world right now. Number 2, all hands on deck. This is a great measuring stick game for the Flyers to see where they stack up against the league's best. Colorado is playing its 3rd game in 4 days and will be playing as a tired unit. The Flyers haven't played since Wednesday, so they'll be the fresher team and need to do simple things. Puck management, rolling 4 lines and 6 defensemen, establish a forecheck and D-zone possession. Lots of shots on a backup goalie and force Colorado to play in its own zone. Easier said than done, but that's the Flyers' formula for success today. And finally, the 3rd thing, neutral zone play. This is the kind of game where the Flyers can help their own cause tremendously in the neutral zone by making strong, concise plays to either enter the zone with the puck or to dump and chase. The Flyers must make smart plays against Colorado and avoid the plagued turnover game that the Avs feast on. They love to turn pucks over and go on the offense fast. Limiting chances in transition will go a long way towards success.
With all that in mind, prediction time. Anthony sent his from Philadelphia International Airport, where Bundy, his flight got canceled.
He's not in Florida?
No. He was at the airport at 4:30. They had to deplane at one point. The pilot had to take a nap. The computer crashed on the flight. They canceled his flight. He's had to change airlines and get his bag back. And now he's not supposed to land there until 8 o'clock tonight. So
he's going to miss some better meetings.
Ant has had a banner day. He picked the Avs to win 4-3.
Okay.
I was actually close to picking the Flyers. And then we found out that instead of Vladar, who was supposed to make the start, now it's Sam Ersson.
Yeah.
I have the Avs winning 4-2.
Okay.
Where are you at?
Avalanche lost to the Islanders 6-3. They played a good game yesterday, but not a perfect game, and beat the Rangers. I'm going to say the Flyers are feeling it today, and I'm going to go with the Flyers in a, listen to this one, 5-4 overtime game.
Wow.
5-4 Flyers in overtime.
Wow. Huge. All right. Intern.
I will take the Avalanche 6-3.
6-3?
Wow.
Holy smokes. All right. Bill, you want to throw in a prediction?
I will. 4-3 Avs in overtime.
4-3 Avs overtime. All right, well, hey, do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share the video, subscribe on YouTube. We will be back. First intermission, second intermission, post-game here on the Press Row Show. Big thank you to Bill. Fantastic
Thanks,
as always.
Bill.
We will talk to each and every one of you during first intermission. Get your predictions in the comments. Respond over on Twitter. We'll talk to each and every one of you very, very soon here on the Press Row Show. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of Egypt. Well, it's a day game. Flyers took a nice little lead early on. It was a deflection by one Sean Couturier, but Colorado answered back a few minutes later. And now, right before the end of the period, you put McKinnon, you put Nelson, and you put Makar on the ice together. Good things are going to happen. A bad bounce off the boards behind the net. Puck kind of gets lost. Two Flyers try to clear the line. They failed to do so. Colorado takes a 2-1 lead with mere seconds remaining in that period. Bundy, your thoughts on the first so far with the Avs leading 2-1?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad period for the Flyers. They had a good start to it. Nice shot by Juleson from the point where Couturier deflected it in. Not a bad start. I still think they need to be better in the middle of the ice, especially in the neutral zone. It's one of our keys. They're just too much transition for Colorado coming the other way, and that causes a lot of problems for the Flyers, especially with the speed of guys like McKinnon and Neskash out there. They're just really good players. So I think the Flyers need to do a better job managing the puck in the middle of the ice and setting it up better so they can get more forecheck going.
A lot of people talking about a missed call. You want to throw that one back up there real quick there, intern? Missed call on Hathaway, but you forget it, move on. Well, that's pretty much all you can do. I mean, you have to play about as near perfect of a game as you can, taking on an absolute behemoth of a team like Colorado is. Now, we talked about this on pregame. They had a 6 spot put on them by the Islanders. They had a rebound win last night, 3-2 in overtime against the Rangers. But when you look at it, Bundy, it's still 3 games in less than 4 nights.
Yeah.
You have to take advantage. I mean, Colorado's got to be feeling it right now. And you would think that as this game goes on, those legs are going to get heavier. The Flyers are going to have to outdo them in terms of energy. They just have to. Kind of no excuse for it, right?
I think that there's another gear the Flyers need to get to make Colorado have to play in their own zone more. They've got to be feeling tired right now.
How hard is it to play back to, they played overtime last night.
Yep. Afternoon. It was an afternoon game. They played at 12:30.
Had to travel from New York to here, which is nothing.
It's a train, yeah.
But to do that kind of a turnaround that quickly in the midst of 3 games in 4 days, how hard is that on the body?
It's a tough one. I mean,
especially to be across the country, too.
Yeah, especially coming across the country. You get that Islander game that kind of stinks up the start of the trip, and then you got the Rangers, and then you get the Flyers. So 3 games in 4 nights coming out east to play those games. Yeah, I don't care how good a team you are. You're going to deal with fatigue, and you're going to deal with it in different ways. But I thought Colorado, I think what they did some good things in the first period, but I thought the Flyers gave them a lot of the opportunities they had.
You know, I think what's frustrating here is that, like, you look at the stats at the end of the period, and, like, here, I should be able to pull this up. Like, just take a gander here real quick at the stats from that first period. Shots on goal, 12-3. Can't only have 3 pucks on net.
No, you got to do better than that.
That's simply not good enough.
The first 3-4 minutes of the game, the Flyers were doing a great job, and then they fell out of it, and they started to get the kind of little bit turnover in the neutral zone, and Colorado kept coming back at them. Fortunately for Colorado, they made some tired plays too.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they're kind of laboring right now trying to get through this game, but they had a good first period. If you're a road team, you come out with a 2-1 lead with a 12-3 shot on goal advantage, you had a good first period, trust me.
Let's see. Andrew just pulled up a comment about if we get to an overtime point out of this, it's a massive win. If you get any point out of this game, but you have to play the right way, and you have to take advantage where you can. By the way, did you see that? Was that a Hartford Whalers jersey I saw over there? What was that? The Forsberg jersey over there? No.
That's a Quebec
Nordique jersey.
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
Yeah.
Huh.
Quebec had they had some beautiful uniforms. Hartford Whalers, Quebec Nordiques, they were great uniforms.
Things you don't expect to see here tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Things that you do expect to see. First intermission, it is time for none other than intern Andrew as he brings us the stat of the night. Although today it really is just the stat of the day.
Stat of the day.
Intern.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good job, Andrew.
Is he a potato cam on your side or is it just on my screen?
Andrew's looks like a potato can.
Yeah.
It looks fine on mine.
It's clearing up now.
Okay, great. So very fitting that the first goal of the game was scored by Sean
By the way,
Couturier.
are you growing out a goatee right now? Remember how you told me he needs to grow facial hair if we're going to shave his head?
No.
Yeah.
He's got some whiskers on the upper lip going on there. All right, sorry, continue.
Okay, sorry. So fitting that the first goal of the game was scored by the captain today, Sean Couturier. Not only his 33rd birthday today, It is his 900th game as a Flyer today.
Yeah.
He's the fourth player in Flyers history to get to 900. Bobby Clark, Claude Giroux, and Bill Barber, and now Coots. So congratulations to Sean Couturier. And then for Colorado, the other goal scorer.
There's another milestone game for the Flyers.
Oh, and Sealer.
Nick Sealer. 400th game
yeah.
for Nick Sealer.
But for Colorado, Brent Burns scored that goal to tie the game at 1. That was his 265th career goal, which put him ahead of Nick Lidstrom for sole possession of 8th on the NHL's all-time goals by a defenseman list.
Wow.
McCarr?
No, Burns.
Brent Burns, right.
Burns, and then if he scores 6 more, he'll pass Bobby Orr for 7th.
Wow.
But he's moving up significantly fewer games than Bobby Orr, but
that's impressive.
Or significantly more games than Bobby Orr did. Bobby Orr, I think, only played like 600 something. But yeah, Burns moving up the charts in the NHL's all-time defenseman list.
How about that?
Interesting.
All right.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Andrew. Good.
Anything else you wanted to get to there before we?
I don't think so.
Was there anything that stood out to you in that first period that you were super hyped about?
Not a ton. Not a ton. No.
All right. We'll see you in the second intermission with trivia time.
Bundy. I have not gotten another late report here from Anthony SanFilippo, but for those who were unable to join us for pregame and are wondering where Anthony is, he's been going through quite the travel saga today. I can run the people down on this a little bit. Ant was at the airport at 4:30 in the morning. He is going to the winter meetings for Major League Baseball. Can you imagine being put on a plane to go down to Florida where it's sunny, not super hot right now, but sunny, to go cover a team that's probably going to end up letting you down? Right, Ant's going to go down there. Is Dave Dombrowski really going to do anything over these next few days? Probably not.
Meetings are only a couple days long, right?
Yeah. So he's going down there. So 4:30, he's at the airport. He gets delayed once or twice. He gets on the plane. Then they let the people know that the pilot needs to take their required rest period. And then they had to de-ice the plane. And while they were de-icing the plane, one of the computers on the plane crashed. So then they deplaned. Then they were delayed again and again. Then they canceled the flight. And before we went live for pregame, we found out that Anthony had to book through another airline, had to go retrieve his baggage to recheck it with another airline. And now he's not slated to get down to the Sunshine State until 8 p.m. tonight.
Wow.
Do you remember ever having a really terrible travel saga as a player?
Yes. A couple of them. I've
Yeah,
been on
any
a
of them
couple.
stand out?
One time we got stuck. I think it was in Chicago. We were going to Columbus, and there was a snowstorm. We had to go through the airport terminal. It was just a complete cluster. It was crazy. Just going through everybody. The team trying to get the bags through the the terminal, the regular terminal. There was just something that was going on with the travel with the storm.
Yeah.
And we, for some reason, had to go in through the terminal rather than the back way. I've been on a couple flights, too, where I literally felt like going to pay the captain to land it because it was so bad. Like just rough flights.
Turbulence.
Just awful.
Let the people in for a second. So you're talking about like having to walk through the terminal and everything you said other than the back way. What does it look like for a team if it's not like a private charter jet? Like when you were playing, were there commercial flights that they would buy out all the seats on the plane? How did that work?
No, I was fortunate to have always been on a charter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One time in my career, we took commercial flight home. We had no choice. From St. Louis once. It wasn't too bad, but I mean, the flying charter is just nothing like it. I mean, you're up in the air, you're down, you're in your hotel before you know it. It's a very, very convenient, luxurious way to travel.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Great. It's great. Yeah.
Intern.
Yes.
You ever have a bad travel?
A couple of years ago, I slept on the floor of baggage claim in Nashville. That was a
You
nightmare.
slept on the floor of baggage claim?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they kicked us out of it was like 3:00 in the morning. We were waiting. It kept getting delayed, and they're just kidding, it's canceled. And they kicked us out of the terminal, so we had to go back on the other side of security. And I slept on the floor of baggage claim. That was awful.
Wow.
I guess I've been fortunate to this point.
You don't have anything like that?
I once had a flight that was overbooked coming back from the Dominican Republic. It was from our honeymoon. And we definitely had seats. And then they said that they overbooked the flight and they needed 40 people to not take the flight because they overbooked it that badly. We got out to the plane and I think we were supposed to do a layover or something on the way home to Miami or something like that. And we went to get on the plane and there were people sitting in our seats and they showed us their tickets. We showed them ours. And so we looked at the stewardess and we're like, well, our luggage is on here. Like, what are we doing? And the stewardess said, oh, there's 2 spots in first class. Why don't you just go sit there?
Wow.
But we weren't seated together. But we got to ride first class home. It's the only time I've ever ridden first class.
How was it?
Oh, it was nice. I mean, it was it's Dominican to, I think it was Dominican to Miami. Maybe it was straight back to Philly. I don't remember, but it was a pretty short flight.
What were they offering people to not take the flight?
They weren't offering anything. They legitimately were just like, this flight is overbooked. It was pretty much like whoever gets there first on this like little tram car thing from the terminal, right?
That is a Bush League operation.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Now, I have had flights where they offer the credit. They start at like $300. They go to like $500, but it's an airline credit. And if you look at the fine print on the airline credit stuff, it's like at times you would never want to travel. Like it's not like a blank check. Like here you go from American Airlines. Here's $600 you can use towards your next flight whenever you want, wherever you want. And so it was when I was coming back from Vegas last year from a work conference, and they were offering. They said they needed just under 50 people to leave the flight because of how hot it was on the tarmac. And I looked at the stewardess and I said, hey, why do we have to have 50 people get off? She said, well, it's a weight thing. And I said, okay. And I said, but like, what if it doesn't happen? She goes, well, then we won't clear the mountain at the end of the runway.
Oh, man.
And she said it straight faced. And I was like, that's not what it is. That's not it. No. That's not, no. We won't clear the mountain at the end of the runway. And I was seated on the aisle. So I couldn't even like look out the window to like see if we cleared it. And I was like, well, I guess on a positive note, like if we don't clear the mountain, it'll be instantaneous. It was the scariest. I think I was 40 minutes into the flight, like being off where I'm like, we definitely cleared it. But like ever since then, I've been like, I have to sit at the window. I have to, or I start to panic. I have to be able to see. And like when you hit turbulence, if you're sitting in the middle or you're sitting on the aisle, and the turbulence happens, like it feels catastrophic sometimes, right?
Yes, it's brutal.
I like sitting on the window because what I do is I look out and I see the world is fine. Like our plane isn't like fluctuating. Like we're not tilting this way. And something about being able to like watch the wing of the plane just kind of like chill. I'm like, oh, okay, this is fine.
If you see the ground, that means you're not falling.
If I see the ground.
I'm saying like if you'd be able to tell. If
you can put those noise-reducing headphones on too. They actually ease a lot of the turbulence.
I have like the Calm app, and you can do like the soundscapes, and I do the ocean sounds. And that has helped. That's helped. I was never bad at flying until my wife white-knuckled our flight for our anniversary to Houston. She like legitimately was like, I think she might have like left nail marks in the armrest. Like she does not like to fly. Yeah. And it was after that. It took me like 4 or 5 flights for work before I started feeling normal again. Anyway, if you're preparing to travel, don't forget Philadelphia International Airport is a great place. They don't sponsor the show, but hopefully if we've added to your anxiety around flying, don't blame us. Blame Anthony SanFilippo for his travel issues today. So
if you go to the airport, he'll probably still be there.
You can actually go meet him. By the way, he said that at 5:30 this morning, he's walking through the airport, and a guy came up to him and said, hey, love Snow the goalie.
Really?
He and I were at a Christmas party together last night, and the host's wife introduced one of her coworkers to me. Aunt wasn't there yet. And this lady's like, I watch every show. I watch every episode. And her husband's behind her and goes, she lets me know when a new episode drops, and then I watch it too.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
That's cool.
This is the year of the people finding us in the wild. So if you do have a flight at Philadelphia International Airport and you're going somewhere in the general vicinity of Florida, you probably can find Ant. I want to imagine, wasn't it Tom Hanks in the terminal? Is that the one where like he lives in the airport for a while?
Yes.
That's what I need Amadeo or somebody to like Photoshop for us. Anthony in the movie The Terminal.
Yeah.
For the second intermission. So anyway, Bundy. Flyers did not play a perfect period. They only had 3 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's one thing they need to improve for the second period. What else stuck out to you that they need to fix or rectify going into the second period to give themselves a shot to tie this one up?
Well, they could be more assertive with the puck in the neutral zone. That was one of my keys to the game tonight, was being strong neutral zone team against Colorado, because they're so good in transition that they want to attack you. They want to come back at you with speed. So I think the Flyers could do a better job of putting pucks in the zone that allow them a chance to get a forecheck, not just dumping it for no good reason at all other than just to get it in. Do it with some direction. Try to get it so you set up a forecheck and get after Colorado. That's where their weakness is right now. They're a tired hockey team. You have to make them not want to have to defend, rather, and that's how you get after a team like this.
We'll see what ends up happening. I think one of the things that's interesting, Bundy, and I guess let the people in. It sounded like Vladar was supposed to start tonight, and then something happened during warmups. There was a thought that maybe he tweaked something, and then Erson ended up starting. But it seemed like the thought process going into today was Vladar would start. If it was an injury or something, or they made that last second change for whatever reason of goalie, how much does that throw you as a team, or do you just go, all right,
No.
it doesn't matter. It's just
Doesn't matter.
dudes in the net.
Yeah, it doesn't matter before the game. Whether you thought Vladar was playing and the other guy's got to come in, you can't be like, oh my God, we got to change goalies. It's not like that at all. You just go out and play no matter who your starting goaltender is.
I saw a comment over here from Landros who said a game like tonight really shows you that the Flyers need elite talent, not just talent.
Yeah, I mean, you get exposed. I mean, this is the best team in hockey they're playing. I mean, I don't think they played a beautiful period, Colorado. They still outshoot the team 12-3 and are leading 2-1 after one.
Yeah.
And I don't think they had particularly a great first period, but they're just so top heavy with talent. I mean, they have some elite talent.
Yeah. Here's a nugget for you. I actually might have something for you in the second intermission around elite talent.
Okay.
So come back during the second intermission. We'll be talking hockey, and of course we have trivia time with intern Andrew, and we'll have analysis of the second period.
Yep.
And we will preview the third period. So come on back in. Do us a favor in the meantime. Like the video, share the video, subscribe over on YouTube. If you're on Facebook or X, hang out with us as well. We'll have the StatCast up during the period. And you can also go back and find an episode we did earlier this week at Chickies and Pete's in South Philly. If you want to go back and listen to Jim Jackson was on the show this week over on Snow the Goalie. You can go listen to that, download it on your favorite podcast app, and, I don't know, mute the TV and go listen to that during the second period. We'll talk to each and every one of you very soon for the second intermission here on the Press Row Show. Talk to you soon.
Welcome to the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show on the side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of Egypt. I was going to go longer, but then there were like small children going by, and I didn't want to scare them. And I was actually going to do like the stick shift thing. I was going to like shifting gears, changing the RPM. I don't want to scare the small children walking by. Welcome in. Flyers pick up a goal in that period down. Nichushkin scores a goal. Konechny gets sprung out on a play off the boards.
Yep.
Gets onto it. Nice finish. 3-2. Still in striking distance.
Flyers with a power play to start the third period. Minute 53, they're going to have a power play time just to open on a fresh sheet of ice. So that's a good thing. Wasn't a bad period. I thought the Flyers did some better things. They didn't turn the puck over as much in the middle of the ice as they did in the first period. But still, Colorado's tough to get through. You got to get through them in layers. They defend well. They get the puck out of the zone very efficiently. The goal Konechny scored was a shot, kind of a pass off the boards he was able to skate into the offensive zone, and he beat Blackwood between the legs. So it was a nice goal by him.
I'm just getting a ton of updates on things just across the board. I'm seeing stuff in the comment section here. There are people commenting on stuff on YouTube, not on this, but on like other Snow the Goalie and Russ Joy Show related Flyers clips. And I just had somebody respond to a clip from my show about, why Flyers fans are protective of Mishkov and just talking about like trying to go out and get like a star defenseman. We can talk about that in a second. But somebody said, Flyers haven't had star defensemen. What do you consider Chemo Timonen fair, Shane Gostisbehere, and Ivan Provorov?
Who said that?
Somebody on a clip. If you think that Shane Gostisbehere was a star defenseman, we are not watching the same sport.
Or Provorov.
If you think Bundy, there is a sliver, 5% of me that could say, if you had a lobotomy after like the third year of Ivan Provorov, you might have left thinking that he could blossom into a star. And then there was the rest of Ivan Provorov's career as a Flyer and a star player. Anyway, I saw over in the comments people are arguing about some things, and we're talking about elite talent. Somebody said, I guess Zegras is elite, and other people saying not elite. And we'll come back to all of it because, listen, I think, Bundy, to be fair, this team, as currently constructed, is playing about as well as I think this level of talent Flyers team can play. I don't think that there's necessarily another level to get to just based on the talent that this team has, but Tocchet's kind of pushing all the right buttons with these guys. I don't know if you have a different take on that. I'm not so sure that this team has another level to hit.
They've played pretty well. I mean, coming out of the gates, the record they have speaks very well for the team that they've had this year coming in. Again, it's tough when you got a game like Colorado because they have just so much skill that they can play bad and they still look good. And it's kind of tough to measure up to that. I mean, we don't have a Nathan McKinnon. We don't have a Makar.
Yeah.
We don't have a Neskash.
Natchez.
Yeah, yes. I call him Neskash.
No, you call him one thing, I call him another thing.
Whatever.
Ant calls him another thing.
Natchez,
yeah. It's just interesting, though. Like, when this team, earlier in the season, when they played Florida twice, we knew that, like, Florida wasn't fully healthy, but the Flyers were able to hang in there. Vladar played really well against them. They've had games this season where they've played against teams that are definitely more talented or definitely have that elite talent that this Flyers team doesn't. And in a weird way, the Flyers play up to the competition a lot of times.
Yeah, they do.
And a game like this, like, listen, you could make the excuse. If you want to be a pessimistic Paulie out there, and you're like, can you believe that the Flyers are currently behind to a team playing in their third game in 4 days? The audacity. Well, then I think you're just a pessimistic human being. You also could be like an overly positive human being and be like, wow, this Flyers team has no business in this game. I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. The fact that they've played this team as evenly as they have, all things considered, you're only down by a goal going into the third frame. I think you're actually doing pretty well if you're the Flyers. The one thing in that period is they put significantly more pucks on net. They put 9 as opposed to 3 in the first period. They're still getting roughly doubled up on shots through 2 periods, but if nothing else, Bundy, we said they needed to put more shots on net, and they did that period.
They got 9. They gave up another, 13?
Yeah.
I think against.
Yep.
So Colorado is, again, their skill really shines through in games like this. But the Flyers have kept their head above water. I mean, this is a winnable game for Philadelphia. The Avalanche here, this will be their most tired game period that they've played in the last 3 days. So it's an opportunity to really get off the schneid here and get pucks in deep and make Colorado have to play defense. Anybody can get a puck in deep and force the other team to have to play defense. And I don't think the Flyers have done enough of that in this game yet.
And the thing is, too, like, I guess, like, maybe at the end of a road trip, you're starting to look ahead to, we're almost home. Like, we're almost there. They still aren't. They still have a game against Nashville coming up after this. Colorado does. So they're not going to look past the third period. You're going to have to meet or match or exceed what the opposition's giving you in the third. Before we get there, and before we get to the tease that I had earlier about, trying to get talent in here, we're going to go over to a segment of the show that people look forward to in the second intermission. If you're new to the Press Row Show, we bring on another member of our team, intern Andrew. A reminder, Anthony is en route to Florida. He's actually still in the Philadelphia International Airport. I did ask him if he wants to hop on for intermission. He's going through security for the second time today in a totally different terminal, so I don't know if Van will be with us at all during second intermission or post game, but we shall see.
If that was me, I would have canceled the trip.
You think so?
I would have. I've been like, all right, I'm done. I'm not going anymore. If I can't get on this flight at this time that I'm supposed to be on, I'm done.
I think he's flying out at 5 o'clock. So if you're at Philly International, go look for Anthony flying to Florida. All right, you ready to get your instrument tuned up?
Yep.
Now remember, it's not a 3-man band. It's only 2 today.
Yeah.
You want to go low or do you want to go high?
We'll go high.
You're going to go high?
Yeah.
So I'll play the low. I'll play the bass line?
Yeah.
All right, ready? One. That's low. You just went low. You're doing like the string bass line. Beep. There you go.
Beep, 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 beep.
Intern Andrew's here.
Yes, hello.
That actually was pretty good. All things considered there. We did all right. It is time for trivia time with none other than intern Andrew. Intern, how are you on this fine, fine evening?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Good.
That's good. I'm happy.
It's a beautiful day.
It is. So I'll shout out my buddy Kyle Schultz, who's a huge Colorado Avalanche fan, who helped me compose this question for you guys. So how about this? December 14th, 2016, the Flyers are in Colorado riding a 9-game winning streak. Flyers would end up winning that game, back and forth game. They win 4-3 to bring the winning streak to 10, which still stands for tied for third longest winning streak in Flyers history.
What year was this?
2016.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Bundy, I think you were on TV at this point, right?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
So, which Avalanche player had 2 goals in that game, and who was the team that beat the Flyers in the next game to snap the streak?
Was it an Eastern Conference team?
Another Western Conference team.
Was it Dallas?
It was the Stars, yeah.
And the player that had 2 goals for the Avs against the Flyers in that game?
Yes, he was the only player with multiple goals in the game.
Ryan O'Reilly.
No.
If you
An Avalanche player, right?
Yeah.
If you had gone 2 for 2 on guesses, I would have.
Yeah, I mean, there's no answer. No one knows it. I never look like Anthony does.
Bundy here. I'm just going to
2
make it
goals
look
for-
like I'm looking out the window, eyes on the.
Trying to think, because I kind of vaguely remember this game a little bit. It wasn't McKinnon.
No.
Was it? It wasn't Landeskog, was it?
Nope.
Tyson Barrie.
No.
Unrelated. What was the year that Forsberg went back to? Didn't he go back to Colorado right before he retired?
I don't know.
And played like 20 games, or was that Nashville?
That was Nashville.
He went somewhere
wasn't
else at the very end of his career.
Who did? I'm sorry.
I'm going to look up Forsberg. I remember him going somewhere at the very end. Why do I feel like he went back? Maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm.
This guy ended up getting traded from the Avalanche the following year, if that helps you.
That doesn't help. So he got traded in 2017. No, I was right. He went from Nashville. So Forsberg went from the Flyers to Nashville. He played 17 games. He then went to Colorado, played 9 games, and then he came back for 2 more games in 2010, 2011. He had 2 very limited single-digit. Sorry, I totally messed up your whole thing, but I had
trying to
finish
think of who
that
else was on Colorado back then at that time. Matt Duchene?
That is correct.
Okay.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even remember if he was still there then.
Yeah, he ended up getting traded November of 2017, so about a year later.
All right.
To the Senators. I think, ironically, he's on the Stars now, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Good trivia.
Thank you.
That was a good job. Okay, got it. Oh, did you see that, speaking of the Stars, did you see that their former owner passed away today?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Tom
Hicks.
Tom Hicks, huh?
Yep, passed away at 79. Yep. Bummer. Was he the owner when
he was the owner when I
played
was
there?
there, yeah. He's a nice man. He owned Manchester United too.
I don't know, but he owned the Rangers as well.
Yeah, and in Manchester United, I think he had a big part of that as well.
Liverpool.
Liverpool?
It was Liverpool,
Liverpool,
yeah.
Okay.
Any anecdotes there? Do you have any interactions with it? Because it wasn't a long tenure there in Dallas. What was
he came in and gave everybody crap at the end of the year. We had a good team, and we fell short in the playoffs. And he wasn't happy about it. Let the players know, but he was a good owner. He was a nice man, good owner.
All right, so we send our best to the Hicks family. That's a bummer. A little bit of a downer today.
Yeah. By the way, to answer Tom Allen's question here, 16-17, the Flyers won 10 in a row
and
missed the playoffs. The following season, they lost 10 in a row at one point and then made the playoffs.
Wow.
Which is, I don't know how they pulled that off.
Yeah, but I think there was a season where they lost 10 in a row and won 10 in a row in the same season.
Maybe, but I don't.
I'm 95% sure that it happened at some point in the last decade.
Maybe.
We'll have to look into it.
Okay.
We'll look up Flyers 10-game losing streaks.
I think at the time, the Flyers having that 10-game winning streak.
Didn't it happen under Vigneault? The 10-game win streak and the 10-game losing streak? We'll look that up. We'll have it.
At the time, the Flyers winning 10 games in a row that year, they were the first team to ever have a 10-game winning streak and then miss the playoffs that season.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was very frustrating.
All right, so let's see. I've got part of it here. So the Flyers, longest losing streaks in the season. This is totally not true. This is an old archived site. No, that can't be right. They've definitely lost 10-plus in a season.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. NHL records is fake news. Okay. Let me see. Bundy. There was something I wanted to ask you. Oh, no, I remember what it was. Intern, thank you. Very lovely on the trivia.
Thank you.
So, I think one of the best storylines that's been going on away from the team, and we'll get back to the Avs game. One of the things that's the most interesting to me is what's happening out on the trade front.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of speculation out there about what the Flyers are going to do. And trade packages right now, if you're going to try to go out and get a guy, are going to be through the roof. Like, absolutely insane right now.
Yeah.
But it does seem like, from some conversations, that the Flyers are actively monitoring every big-name player and every legitimate player that could potentially hit the trade market. So if you're a Flyers fan out there and you're like, I wonder, would the Flyers ever check in on Erasmus Dahlin if he's available? Would they ever check in on a Quinn Hughes? Would they check in on, insert the name of whatever player? I've certainly gotten the impression that, yes, they have the pulse of the trade market right now. We always talk about the fact that, like, early in the season, you don't see players moved, right? Because the leverage point is for the team that's looking to trade a player away.
You got to find a team that wants to be a trade partner, that wants to shake things up. Buffalo's a good one. Do you know Buffalo hasn't won a game on the road in regulation since April Fool's Day? They haven't won 2 consecutive games all year. That's a team that needs to shake things up big time. Big time. If you can somehow get a guy like Dahlin out of Buffalo, that's a grand slam home run.
I think that, like, if you're, it's tricky because I think a lot of times Flyers fans like to overrate their own players. I think sometimes even the media who cover them sometimes overrate the players because you're going into the locker room and you're talking to these guys every day. And despite what some players say, there are certainly some who read what's written about them. There's some who listen to shows that are, there's something said about them. Whether they're directly reading it or it's a friend or a family member, somebody who sends them like a blurb from the Inquirer or sends them a clip of our show or whatever. I think that these guys, for the most part, are aware of where their stock is at among fans, among media. I get the feeling right now that the Flyers, at least league-wide, are viewed as one that has maybe not the ultimate war chest of assets in terms of young guys and prospects and picks, but they have enough of a war chest that if they really did want to make a move for a guy that could fundamentally help this team, not just in the short term, but the long term, they have assets that are attractive. And it's not just paying lip service. It's not blowing smoke at fans. I think that across the board, you're seeing that there are guys on this team who are trending in the right direction. One of the guys who was trending in the best direction was Tyson Forster, who's now hurt. But it gives other guys an opportunity to get some film out there. I would be very shocked if a move is made, if there's a big-time move made on the trade market in the next few months, I would be absolutely shocked if the Flyers didn't have an offer on the table.
Yeah, I agree. The one that's getting the most noise right now is Quinn Hughes. And I saw some people commenting on what their aspirations would be to move. Unfortunately, in a trade like that, you're going to lose somebody that you really like.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like we're just going to give you like the 2 least favorite guys and a couple first-round picks. They want players back. And if you're going to get a guy like Hughes, unfortunately, you've got to give a lot up.
And so that ultimately, I think, is the question that this front office is going to have to answer is, say Vancouver makes Hughes available. I do fully, like, if I had to bet significant money on it, I would say that Quinn Hughes will not be a Canuck by the end of his contract. I would fully expect that if you're Vancouver and you're trying to maximize value, when's the best time to do it? It's before this trade deadline.
Right.
You want to have a team that's going to acquire him for the rest of the playoff run and have an entire season, and then you try to convince the guy to re-sign to an extensive contract. Teams are going to offer you the most between now and the trade deadline. The draft, it'll be a minimized return because you can't negotiate that contract. Next season, during the season, then he's a rental. So this is like the time, if you're Vancouver, you have to look at it. And listen, if they're smart, they're going to ask for the moon and more.
Why wouldn't they? They're their greatest asset. They want to get something back for what they feel is a bona fide star in this league and a number 1 defenseman.
So all of that is to say that if you're like, oh, what about Owen Tippett and like Denver Barkey and a first-round pick? Like, that ain't it. I have seen people going around on Twitter this week, and they're looking at the last time a number 1 defenseman was moved or some star players were moved, and you look at it and you go, all right, if you were going to extrapolate that and try to compare it to what the Flyers have right now, it looks like this. Well, whatever this is, I don't think it's done. We can talk about it a little bit more post-game. Bundy, before we get into the third period, what is the number 1 thing the Flyers have to do in this third period to either get the win or force overtime at the very least?
Be really solid at both blue lines. Be assertive with what you're doing, getting the pucks in deep or making a strong pass to try to enter the zone with under control. And at your own blue line or inside that 10-foot area inside the blue line, you got to get pucks out of the zone. And that's really going to be a big focus for the Flyers this period. You cannot give Colorado transition chances, not in this period. They're a tired team. Make them try to play defense this period. Keep them hemmed in their own zone.
Let's see what this power play looks like to start the period. I mean, this could fundamentally shift the entire makeup of the game if they can execute here.
There we go.
We'll be back post-game. Do us a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and share the link to somebody else who's watching the Flyers game right now. We'll talk to you post-game here on the Press Row Show.
Oh, welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show, this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, west of Egypt. Back up, the number one show this side of the Mississippi. Flyers fall 3-2, a game that, well, they were competitive. The first period, they only put 3 shots on net, and it feels like from that moment on, Bundy, they kind of had themselves behind the 8 ball. They did manage to, they took a 1-0 lead in that first period, then they gave up 2, including one very late in the first period. Second period, you get a goal out of Nichushkin. You have a goal that comes off the boards to Konechny on a breakaway. Third period, you have a Trevor Zegras play where he's given the penalty shot.
Yep.
Second time this season, he's awarded a penalty shot and can't convert. Unfortunately, he's great in the shootout, but the actual penalty shots in the game.
Yeah, he's 0 for 2 this year.
0 for
penalty
2.
shots. I don't know if he's missed a shootout one yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he has, but good third period by the Flyers. They just couldn't get through on Colorado and get one over to tie it. The best chance they had to tie it was that penalty shot. They just weren't able to capitalize.
And it was rough, too, because, we said in the second intermission, coming out of that, Flyers had a power play. And it was like, you fundamentally could flip the game on its head if you were the Flyers. If you tie it up in the first minute and a half or so of that period. They failed to do so. They did have some sustained possession in this game, especially in the third period. You and I were talking about it all throughout the third. I mean, I think it was from the 12 or 13-minute mark remaining to the end of the game. It just felt like they had the Avs on their heels the entire time. They just couldn't find the back of the net.
Avs were completely wiped out by the third period, as we predicted after the second intermission. They were gassed, and they really did hold on for the win here tonight. They did. They kept things as best they could to the perimeter. The Avalanche did, and the Flyers just were not able to penetrate anything into that middle of the ice area. They tried. It just wasn't there. And Colorado, kind of like short-winded team today, they still find a way to win a hockey game.
There's that old adage about hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work. And I wouldn't say today is an example of not working. I think it really was exhaustion on the part of Colorado. But that just goes to show you that when you are a team that has as much elite talent as Colorado does, you cannot play your best game. You can really empty. I mean, I would argue they emptied the clip in the first period. They managed to, get one across in the second, and the third, it was hang on for your life, and they did.
Yeah.
And that is an elite team.
They're the best team in the league.
We talked about it pregame. I mean, they had a plus 48 goal differential coming into tonight, so now they're a plus 49 for the season. And Bundy, I hit intern with this though. Do you know what the top 2 teams ever in terms of goal differential were, or like how big of a goal differential it was? Because it might blow your mind.
For an entire season.
For an entire season.
I'm going to say it's got to be plus 100.
Way higher.
Way higher. Huh? Oh, you're going back into the 80s too. So
70s as well.
Yeah.
70s.
Let me see here. So they played, let's say 75. I'm going to say then it's probably 150.
Even higher. The 1970-71 Bruins were a plus 192.
Jesus.
And that's only the second highest goal differential, Bundy. The 1976-77 Canadiens were a plus 216.
Yeah. What year was that?
76-77.
Yeah, they were one of the greatest teams ever.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's still crazy.
Crazy numbers.
Like
crazy
bananagrams. I mean, if you kind of played this out over the course of the rest of the season, could the Avs get to a plus 100 goal differential?
They could.
In theory they could. I don't think you're knocking on the door of any of the. I believe that the Canadiens had the other 3 top totals in the top 5, and they were all over 100. I think they were all around 120, 130 in the positive. But this Colorado team is a fantastic one, and I know that people were looking at it coming in and saying, hey, well, the Islanders hung 6 goals on them, so anything's possible. This 3-2 result, Sam Ersson was in net. I would say that this is one of those games where you look at it and say that has to be something of a confidence booster.
Sure.
Confidence builder for Ersson to hold Colorado to only 3 goals on the night.
He played a good game today. He was solid when he had to be. I probably would like the third one back, the Nichushkin shot, but it happened so quick. Just a soft wrister found its way up over his blocker, and that was a tough goal to give him the 3-1. But I'll give the Flyers a lot of credit today. They didn't quit. They generated a lot in the third period. They really tried to take advantage of a tired Colorado team that's playing 3 games in 4 days and in a second of a back-to-back. Just wasn't to beat today, but they don't have anything to hang their heads on. They played a strong hockey game.
I see Vineet Singh here, very upset about Hathaway. says we actually had chances. Any NHLer would have buried that feed from Gurbankin to the net front, but unfortunately we play Hathaway. I brought this up to Meltzer pregame. You know, I get the thought process of, well, Gardner Hathaway is a good penalty killer for this team. I'm not trying to like minimize how important a penalty kill is. But like, Bundy, do you think at some point the coaching staff, the front office, maybe together, they look at it and they say, yo, we don't think that Gardner Hathaway is like a garbage player out of nowhere. Like, he had a good year last year. He certainly hasn't looked anywhere near that level this year.
No.
Do they maybe think about sitting him for a game or two and try to get his head back on straight? And you and I talked about how Simmons, when he got to the end, like, it was just a precipitous fall off. Not ready to say Hathaway's like in that spot of his career, but it has been a very staggering drop off year over year.
Yeah, his best asset is the energy that he brings, right? And being kind of a pest on the ice. And when he's not doing that, he's not as effective or as efficient a player as we've seen in the past. And I feel like this year he's been kind of behind the play a little bit.
Yeah.
Like getting into those energy areas where you can create the havoc and turn pucks over. It just hasn't happened. I think it's a matter of him just keep working. Just keep trying to dig in and to try to find his game. Again, benching him, I don't know what that's going to do at this point. They're still playing.
I just wonder if it's a clear your head kind of thing. You know, the same way that you do it for a young player, where it's just like, you know, just take a game.
Yeah, it's possible.
Process it that way.
Yeah, it's possible.
See you, Mike.
See you, Mike. Take care. Good job on the organ today, buddy.
So for this week, we have a bevy of shows. Flyers play Tuesday, they play Thursday, and they play Saturday. And we have a Snow the Goalie radio in the middle of all that. And I believe we've had a couple of changes to the schedule. So let me just kind of hit people real quick with some of the changes coming up. If you are looking to come out and join us for a live edition of Snow the Goalie radio on Wednesdays. This Wednesday, the 10th, we will be at Roosevelt Boulevard, Northeast Philly location. On the 17th, we will be at Drexel Hills, Chickies and Pete's. And
how's Anthony get 2 in a row in Drexel Hill? I haven't had one in Marlton yet.
I only had that one in Malvern at the very beginning. The first show.
How's he get another show there? That's ridiculous.
I don't know.
We should be at Marlton.
We should fight him. So anyway, we're at Northeast Philly this week, Drexel Hill next week, and then Bordentown, New Jersey. Where's Bordentown? Do you know where Bordentown is?
Yeah, it's up near Trenton.
I've never heard of Bordentown before.
Yeah, it's up 295.
I'm sure the Chickies there is wonderful.
It's a good Chickies.
Bordentown, we have 2 days before Christmas. That'll be a Tuesday edition of Snow the Goalie Radio. So anyway, again, Northeast Philly this week, Drexel Hill next week, Bordentown before Christmas, and then we end the year at Parks Casino. And then we'll talk about the new year and the new year. But we have a ton of shows. So I'm not saying that we're going to cut pregame incredibly short here, but we are going to cut it a little bit shorter than normal because we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you'll hear from us, and then next Saturday as well. Then the Flyers go away for a bit, and they come back on the 22nd.
Yes.
They have a game on the 22nd. Then the next day we have Snow the Goalie Radio, and then 2 days later is Christmas. So this very compact frame of time that they have, I don't know what that was. Oh, there was a touchdown. Somebody must have had money on the Bills. I think. I mean, somebody just got very, very excited about whatever.
Bills just scored, yeah.
So we have a lot of shows coming up this week. So we will be diving into all this. But Bundy, really quick before we head out, this is the topic of the day, I guess the topic of the week, and we briefly touched on this during second intermission. Maybe to level set for people this week, I fully expect that we are going to continue to hear the Flyers involved in trade negotiations and in trade speculation around just about everybody whose name has hit the market. Last week, Owen Tippett's name came up, and it seems like there was a rumor going around about Tippett being asked about by Vancouver. And one of the names that came out of Vancouver as a guy that they might be willing to move was Sherwood, which I don't really see the fit for here.
Right.
The guy that everybody wants out of Vancouver is Quinn Hughes. And I would assume pretty well here that would take a lot. So we'll speculate.
There's going to be other teams involved.
Yeah.
It's not like just the Flyers and the Devils, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, oh, the Quinn Hughes available. He's going to the Flyers. I get news for you. If Quinn Hughes really becomes available and people are interested, he's going to have 15 teams trying to get him.
Yep.
With different packages.
There was a thing today. Was it Friedman was the one who put out that the Devils had conversations with the Canucks about Hughes? And you fully expect that.
But they're going to. He's got two brothers on the team.
Well, and listen, in the event that Vancouver ever decides to trade Quinn Hughes, I got news for you. You're going to have at least 15 offers on the table.
Yeah.
Of varying degrees and varying levels. So I fully expect the Flyers to be involved, though, which is always an exciting thing. I mean, it's been a while since the Flyers have had a GM that's like kind of pulled off one of those big balls moves, Bundy. I mean, you maybe go back to Homer as the last one to pull off something like that.
Homer loved the big move.
He did.
He loved the big move. He felt it was a way to keep the fans engaged and your team up on top of its heels. So it's pretty good. He was always good like that.
And the Flyers will need to have a big balls move. I mean, and to be fair, they're going to need to have a big balls move at some point in the next 2-3 seasons in order to kind of reach that next level where they want to go. So we will keep all eyes on it. So
can I ask a question about that?
Oh, intern Andrew.
I've been wondering this for a while since you mentioned that both Quinn Hughes and Rasmus Dahlin might both get dealt.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because they're two number one defensemen getting moved.
Dahlin's name, from what I've gathered, has not been dangled and really hasn't been discussed that much.
But let's just say for the sake of this question that he is. When Subban and Weber were traded for each other, were they both considered number ones at that point?
Weber was.
Subban probably was too.
Subban, I feel like he was in a spot where the stock was still rising on him a bit.
Yeah. The thing with Subban, he was just a good offensive guy.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he's really good with offensively.
And Weber was a true number one. Are you floating the idea of a Quinn Hughes for Rasmus Dahlin swap? You dirty dog.
I was just curious.
You dirty dog.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That one.
But both of those teams aren't really competitive this year. Like the Canadiens and Predators at that point, I think were both competitive at least.
Yeah.
Nashville definitely was. Nashville went to the Cup final, I think, Subban's first or second year there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that'll be interesting to see is at what point I'm not sure Buffalo is going to feel motivated to move Dahlin this year. They might.
Okay.
I have no idea. I mean, it feels like there have been other names that have been floated out there. Power's name was floated out there. Bo Byram's name was floated out there.
Yeah.
Thompson's name is one that people are waiting to hit the market. Buffalo, I think at any given point can totally shock you. Like if we found out tomorrow that Dahlin was moved and Buffalo only talked to like one or two teams, would it really shock you?
Right.
I mean, like they do weird stuff all the time. The Vancouver thing is really the one to kind of have an eye on, just because that is Hughes is a true bona fide number one. And I think that the widely held belief, Bundy, correct me if I'm wrong, is like, if it's not New Jersey, there's a desire to at least be back on the East Coast. So, I don't think you rule out if there's a Western Conference team that wants to make a move. I don't think you rule it out. Maybe you try over the next year and a half to convince him to re-sign, but it is a calculated risk. No matter who acquires a Quinn Hughes, you can't negotiate a contract with them. You can't.
Right.
You're not allowed by the league to negotiate. Could you have a wink, wink, nudge, nudge handshake deal with an agent? Maybe. But you can't actually sign him to an extension yet. So
until July 1st of next year, yeah.
And so you're in a real quandary there if you make the acquisition now. But man, if you're the Flyers, you certainly have to be involved in it. You expect the Devils to be. Could you see a team like the Rangers getting involved there, Bundy? Like same idea?
I don't know what they're going to do, because I've heard rumors they want to move, but possibly if they slip, they're going to try to move Panarin
before he becomes a free agent this summer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, I think if nothing else, I expect there are going to actually be a few big names that are going to move between now and the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like the last few years, there's been a little bit of that. There have been some moves that have happened. They go, oh, that's interesting. I think this year will be the year, but we'll see. But I expect the Flyers are going to be involved. I mean, like I've been saying for a while, I think Danny Briere's got the chutzpah to go out and make one of those moves. And we said during one of the intermissions, I think that he's got enough of a war chest that you could, if you really wanted to, you could make a deal happen. It's just a matter of what's your pain threshold if you're going to try to go out and get one of those guys. It's going to cost you. If you try to make the trade right now, it's going to be an exorbitant price. If you wait till closer to the deadline, yes, there could be a bidding war, but I don't know if the cost is going to. The player's only under contract then from the trade deadline on and then next season. Right now, you get the most. You almost get 2 full seasons for the most part, right? So we'll see. We'll be back on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday on the Press Row Show. Snow the Goalie Radio. You could join me if you want Monday on the Russ Joy Show. Go find that where you find your shows on YouTube and podcasts. We'll talk more about the Flyers and prepare for the Eagles game. Talk about Los Sixers. And maybe we'll check in with Anthony at the winter meetings.
How long is he there for?
He is going to miss Tuesday's game. I think he's back for the radio show on Wednesday. So he's supposed to get into Florida, hopefully 8 o'clock tonight. So we're all going to cross our fingers and our Tootsie Toes that Ant finally has a safe flight, because the first one got canceled. I actually did talk to him. He said that he was sitting in the baggage claim area for 2 hours because the airline he had to switch over to wouldn't check his bag as far out as he needed. So he had to go sit in baggage claim for a while. And he was going through security for the second airline of the day.
He loves his baseball, that guy, doesn't he?
He loves his baseball. You know, what can you do? his employer sent him to go cover the winter meetings. So,
Yes,
Good for
sir.
him.
I would love to, sir. Yes. Hello, Dave Dombrowski. Yes, I would love to hear about how you're going to improve the Phillies.
good luck. Dave Dombrowski. That's what some people are saying. I don't know. All right. We'll be back on Tuesday. A big thank you to everybody who joined us live. Do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe on YouTube. And hit us up on the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. For Bundy, for Ant, wherever he is, for Intern Andrew, I'm Russ. Thanks for joining us here on
Thanks,
the Press
guys.
Row Show. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you